This is your foundation. How to successfully grow your wedding business. Weddings Made Simple.
I'll tell you what, Caleb has shot many weddings, as we mentioned earlier, and he's made my life so easy over the years because he understands these principles. So myself as an editor, I go in there and I have all the shots that I need. I have the emotions that I need to connect with our bride and groom and to connect with our audience. I know I don't have any abstract B-roll that makes no sense. All that to say, Caleb has shot many weddings, and I think he is a great person to explain our last topic, which is to serve the couple. So,
yeah, serving
can
the
you
couple.
explain serve the couple?
Yeah. So serving the couple is something that oftentimes we can lose track of as artists and cinematographers. For a lot of filmmakers, for a lot of cinematographers, videographers, wherever your beginning is, when you get into weddings, of course, as the artist that wants to go and do a lot of beautiful work and wants to film a lot of beautiful things and really experiment with the angles and the compositions and the lighting, you can sometimes forget that you're not just there for the art. You're there for the couple, right? And it's important to realize that the couple is your boss and their needs come first. You might be working for a company, you might be working for yourself, but at the end of the day, the person that you are most concerned about is the couple. The person that you want to please is the couple. So.
Yeah, and like one of the things that we want to tell, especially new editors that come on and new filmmakers that come on with us, is that this isn't the time to show off. I think we've all seen a little too many wedding films that look like Instagram flexes and they look like personal demo reels. And like Caleb was saying, first and foremost, your audience is your bride and your groom. And on that note, when we're talking about kind of edits and filmmaking that draws more attention to the editor and to the filmmaker, all the crazy cool effects and transitions we can do in our wedding films, which honestly tell more about the editor than about the bride and the groom, these effects and stuff, these aren't evergreen. I mean, Caleb was saying the other day about Star Wars, you know, those hokey shape transitions, they're essentially outdated now. So,
and you certainly don't want to age your film. You want your film, your wedding film, to be evergreen. If it's not, then 40 years from now, your bride and groom, they're not going to be remembering their wedding, they're going to be remembering you. And you don't want that to happen.
And their grandkids are going to be laughing at the work that you did.
And this is why it's important to have that intent towards making sure that you achieve this, you know, because the fact of the matter is if you have the intent to film a certain way, those things stay the same over time, right? They're timeless. Compositions, how they tell the story. You know, there's movies such as like Citizen Kane that has some of the best cinematography. It's like from the 50s, right? This is something that to this day is still considered one of the best films because they stuck to principles that remain timeless.
And that was Orson Welles, was it not?
Yeah, I think so.
The absence of limitations is the enemy of art. So just focus on and master the basics, and then you'll learn the subtleties of when you can include some of those extra tricks, but they'll be done in a tasteful and a mature way. So just know, though, that they aren't and never were a prerequisite for mastering cinematic storytelling, so breathe easy.
Yeah, and I do just want to kind of interject here. Yeah. Just going back to the example that I gave earlier where we'll have brides and grooms and engaged folks and even the mothers and the fathers and the friends of the brides, they'll come up to us at these shows, put on some headphones, experience narrative transportation, and they'll be weeping about somebody that they have never met in their entire life. And that doesn't happen just by cutting together a bunch of clips. It happens by that intentionality of not trying to insert yourself into the story, not trying to make that flashy demo reel. My parents, they got married in the 80s. And for their 30th anniversary a few years ago, I decided I was gonna go and take a look at the beta tapes. And I had them digitized, and oh boy, all I gotta say is I could see the editor very clearly. And it was really tough to actually see my parents and know their story. So I actually digitized all the raws and I re-edited that film to be timeless. And I paired it up with a song that was actually played at their wedding, and it's something that they still cherish and they watch, if not on a monthly basis, then definitely on a yearly basis. So I highly recommend that you're focusing specifically on telling a story about the bride, removing those peripherals. I mean, on these cameras here, you're seeing all of the background of what's happening, how we're doing this, how we're making these videos. But you don't want that to happen in your wedding films. In fact, you want to avoid that at all costs. Edit it out, and that's what this course is all about. So.
Yeah, and it's funny you said putting yourself into the story and inserting yourself. What that looks like to me is, of course, you're not going to be on the film, right? But a way you might insert yourself is, instead of shooting something emotionally engaging with close shots that are meant to like fill the frame and bring out that emotion on camera, you might do an epic shot, you know, wide, far back, something that to you is epic for the film cinematically speaking, but it's not going to engage the motion. And that might be inserting yourself because you're sacrificing the motion in order to have a prettier shot.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think just a good example of that would be drone. I mean, we may be talking about this in another video, but I just want to mention this. Drone is the most overused and improperly used tools in wedding film, in my opinion. It's there to set the stage. It's not there to show off your fancy drone flying techniques. It's there to set the stage. Maybe you use 1 or 2 clips, and then you move on. So that'd be a great example, because you love flying that drone, so why not throw a drone shot in the film? So
yeah, and that's a great point, because especially for the filmmakers, they could spend, maybe they love drones so much, so they spend a little bit too long capturing drone, and they're missing those important moments in the bridal suite. But this is not the filmmaker course, so Caleb, stop hijacking me here. We need to get onto the editing track here. So that's why we're starting this course with a philosophy of wedding storytelling. And I promise you, these principles are only going to make you a more mature and sought-after artist. So I challenge you to keep this in mind as you go through this course. In fact, I'll be referencing some of these terms throughout. Just remember, understand the genre, engage emotion, and serve the couple. Join me in the next video, where I'll be covering the ins and outs of storytelling.